right, welcome to another Baseball Opps Podcast at TopVelocity. This is your host, Brent Porcio. So, thank you for listening so far. We've kind of going on this new series with me, just covering some real, important topics in the field of baseball and a lot we want to get through. If you have any suggestions on topics you'd like us to cover, just put it in the comments below or reach out to us. At TopVelocity.net, many ways to reach out to us. Phone number and everything. Also, too, we've had this out there for a while. If you guys want to send in a video for a quick analysis, free analysis, go to the website and find the phone number. It's the 415 phone number, and put in all your info, or actually don't even put your information. Just text me the video. That's what it is. It's just a text to the video. And I'm going to give you the phone number right now. It's actually 415-877-4850. And you just text me your video, and I'm going to give you a quick analysis. What do I like? I like these side views, that game speed, one pitch. Definitely you're throwing. It doesn't really work when you don't throw. It doesn't really give you a real understanding of your movements. So make sure you're throwing, obviously, a baseball. And I'll give you a quick analysis. It's pretty cool. But today we're going to cover passion, or what I like to say, purpose in your career. So I think this is important to all those out there that are coming to the point where the game is not going to be so much a social environment or a social interaction for you. It's going to start getting more serious, and it's going to start taking more time. And ultimately, you start hoping, or if you have dreams and aspirations to do this from a young kid, like most of us have, you're looking to see if you have a career in this. Like, is this something that can become a career? And I think, man, this is a tough thing, man. This one's going to take a lot of brain power from me. I had to get my coffee for this, because the hard part here is there's too much fantasy around a lot of the things that we aspire to coming from our younger years, right? Because I guess we watch a lot of fantasy movies, cartoons, all that when we're kids. We don't get a real understanding how life works. So the challenge here is taking someone that has aspired to have a dream to achieve something like playing Major League Baseball or whatever it is, playing a high level of baseball, or throwing 100 miles per hour and playing at your local school and maybe playing for your local pro teams. Those start off as a young age, and then you have these like expectations of how it's going to happen, and that's the real problem. So if you're really going to find a career in this game, you have to be extremely open-minded to the process, but very focused on the goal, right? And that's really what's going to help you have a better chance of getting there. I think the people that don't achieve their goals and dreams, or don't even come close, because at the end of the day, guys, you might not get it, but let's come close at least. Then a lot of people put these expectations, like, it's almost like they're saying, I want to play Major League Baseball if that's the goal and that's the dream, but I need to, get it. I have to get there this way. I have to go play for my local high school. Then I've got to go play for my state college that I grew up watching. Then I've got to go and get drafted in the top 5 rounds. And then in 1 year, I'm in the big leagues. And then I'm going to stick in the big leagues. And then I'm going to have a great career in the big leagues. Like it's like if I don't do it that way, so the moment one of those things doesn't happen, then you feel like you've failed and it's over. That's the problem. So if we're really going to do this, right, at the end of the day, this podcast is helping you reverse engineer your dream, your goal, right? So obviously we all have the goal. That's the easy part. We all have the goal. How do we get there? And so I need you to be very open-minded about the process. If we really have an opportunity to do this, because life constantly throws curveballs at us, right? That's an analogy right from our sport. It constantly throws us change of speeds at us, deception, and throws us off our path. And the path is just something purely we've more than likely chosen to be on. And you got to understand this way is that you don't really know all the options and what's going to take to get there. So you got to stay open-minded, because you'll speculate on maybe this is the path, but what you're going to find if you knew all the options, that there's a lot of options here to play with, and obviously some are going to get you farther than the others. So being open-minded and obviously being very prepared to make the best, or take the best opportunity and be prepared for that opportunity, is really the name of the game. So up front, let's just be open-minded and be prepared for a lot of adversity. What I mean by adversity, a lot of things that can go wrong, or things that are going to ultimately challenge you, things that are going to knock you on your butt, things that might make you even have to start over, things that are going to make you even question if you want to do this because it's so hard or it's so frustrating right now. Be prepared for a lot of that. So once again, it's like if we could measure the probability, the chances that we actually achieve our goal, it's going to have a lot to do with the ability to survive the adversity. That's going to improve the probability. So if you're like, hey, what are the chances I achieve my goal, and I'm only willing to fail twice, and I have to go along this specific path, now the probability you get there is very poor. But if you're like, hey, what are my chances of achieving my goal, and I'm willing to go any path, I'm willing to do this as long as it takes, I'm willing to take on any adversity, even if it knocks me down, makes me quit, start over, I'm whatever it takes. Now the probability goes way, way up. So at the end of the day, I had this conversation with the major leaguer one time, and he was telling me how, eventually the game's going to give up on you. And I said, you're wrong. Actually, you give up on the game. Eventually, you quit the game. You make the decision to quit. The game doesn't go, hey, your career's over. No, you make the decision because you go, hey, yeah, I'm just not in it anymore, or that's too much failure, or God, that really sucks. That was so frustrating. I don't think I can enjoy this anymore. Once again, you make the decision. So if you're like, hey, I'm willing to endure all this and take any opportunity, now your probability that you're going to keep playing this game for a long period of time and get opportunities to go even higher, it's going to significantly increase. So if right now, if you're listening to this podcast because it hopes that it gives you the inspiration, it gives you the path, the process to reach your goals in the game, then right now moving forward, you're going to listen on because you've accepted the fact that I'm willing to not narrow down the process. I'm willing to open my options and my mind to the process and take many different options, whatever I believe is the best thing. And I'm also willing to handle and take on a lot of adversity. Then there's a lot that you need. Then stay tuned because there's a lot we're going to learn. Because that's a prerequisite. If you can't do that, then I think you're wasting your time. You are wasting your time even listening on. So let's get into some studies here. I always like to go out and find some studies because what are case studies? It's typically peers or experts that have sat down and thought this out. So it's like, why do we sit here and reinvent the wheel when we can listen to experts and really learn the things that they've worked out in their brain and took a lot of time and energy and effort and experience to work out, and we can build off of that. That's really the best thing about science and case studies and empirical evidence is we can get all this brilliant information and use it as kind of stepping stones to enlighten ourselves and become more self-aware. So I'm gonna start with this one called Purpose in Life as a System that Creates and Sustains Health and Well-Being, an integrative, testable theory. So this is coming from the Review of General Psychology, and go and look it up. If you've listened to my podcast before, I get most of my studies from Google Scholar. Search Google Scholar and look that one up and go through it. But right here's an excerpt from it. It says, these two scientists, McKnight and Kashtan, define purpose in life as a central self-organizing life aim that organizes and stimulates goals, manages behavior, provides a sense of meaning. Okay, so we're starting to define the word purpose, right? Because at the end of the day, people want to know, what's my purpose? Because if I have a purpose, then it's going to give me the motivation to get where I want to go, which ultimately is my goals and dreams, right? So people want the purpose or that passion. It's kind of all the same thing, which is the mechanism that drives me, moves me forward, gets me out of just being sedentary and complacent, and actually propels me forward, gives me that energy, that momentum to go where I'm going, which is hopefully my destiny to ultimately my goal. How do I get on that purpose to that, right? So what they're saying here is it's a self-organizing life aim, right? So it starts someone with the purpose is more organized to move in a direction because they're aiming to where they want to go. And it stimulates goals. And what it's ultimately saying is it stimulates. Obviously, I don't think purpose tells you what your goal is. It's you found your purpose because you want the ultimate goal, but it helps you set goals in that process. So you have like your micro goals to your macro, the ultimate goal, right? So it'd be like Major League Baseball, but first I need to do well at the high school level or the little league level, and then I want to do well at the college level. It's like, so those are the goals to the ultimate goal. Let's look at another one here. So this one from the study called Beyond Employability Skills, Developing Professional Purpose. This is important, even if this is going to be geared more towards a career in the workforce. We're talking about professionals. At the end of baseball, if your goal is to get to college and professional baseball, it's called professional baseball. Even in college, it should be called professional. You're being paid, you're being compensated. And so therefore, you're going to be expected to hold yourself to certain standards to be there and to achieve, to have value, to be incentivized to be there. So this is going to help. It says in the study, here's an excerpt. The sense of purpose is not linked to the achievement of a designated goal, but operates as a mindset motivating the person to be oriented towards the goal. So purpose is not the link to the goal itself. So it's the process to get there, right? That's what we've been saying the whole time. So it just kind of go along those lines, that don't associate purpose with the goal. It's something that it's like the ship you get in to get to the destination. The goal is the destination. Purpose is the ship. So when you're looking for purpose and passion, you're looking for the ship. You're looking for the vessel that's going to take you to the goal, to the dream, right? And here was another one. It says, another excerpt, purpose isn't something we find. Actually, this is from another study before we go there. This is called How Purpose Changes Across Your Lifetime. Okay, so you can look that one up as well. How purpose changes across your lifetime. You can read that manuscript. Excerpt right here says, purpose isn't something we find at all. It's something we can cultivate through deliberate action and reflection, and it will naturally wax and wane through our lives. Purpose is not a destination, but a journey and practice. So it comes off the last one saying it's not the goal. It's not linked to where you're going. It's the vessel that gets you there. So it's telling us that it's not the destination, it's the journey. Okay. But more importantly, start off saying that it's something we have to cultivate. It's a deliberate action and reflection. So what it's saying, it's like, yeah, you're going to get in the ship, which is the purpose, but it's just not going to take you there. You're going to have to power the ship. You might have to first build the ship. Ultimately, you will. Then you're going to have to fuel the ship, power the ship, man the ship, drive the ship to get to the goal. Right? So the purpose is the self-organizing. Let's go back. It's the self-organizing of yourself, right? Self-organizing. It's what's going to help you build the vessel, right? The ship to get to the destination, the goal in your life. So I'm using these analogies because I want you to visualize it, guys. Ultimately, what creates something first is visualization of it. Once you see it and you feel it and you consume it, you manifest it. So that's why analogies are so important, because we can use these images to help us truly embody a meaning of something that we want to help us reach or improve, enlighten, and gain knowledge, right? So and another excerpt, having a purpose in life contributes to optimal human development in a variety of ways. Theoretical research identifies purpose as a development asset and an important component of human flourishing. So going even farther now, it's basically saying that, okay, it's the vessel to get where we're going. We already know that. But this is saying that it's critical. It's basically saying like this is the only way you develop yourself in life, the only way you flourish. It's so the point is like if you're not in your vessel, if you haven't defined your purpose and built it and organized your life, created the action to get where you want to go, then it's like you're stuck on the island. So let's go back even farther into the analogy. Right now, you're on this island and your destination, your goal is way out there in the ocean, and you probably can't even see it, but it's this beautiful continent that you want to get to, right? That has everything you want. And the purpose that you need, the passion you need to achieve it is in building that ship and powering that ship and driving that ship and enduring the ocean in that ship to get to the goal. So if I don't do that and I don't get into the ship and I don't establish the purpose and the passion, I stay on the island. I stay stuck on the island. I'm sure that's where a lot of people are listening to this. You're stuck on the island. Or you've been on the island and you're moving around and you're trying things and you realize you're missing the boat. Great analogy right there, right? Pun, right? You're missing the boat, meaning you're looking for the bridge to the goal, to the dream, to Major League Baseball, whatever it is, on the island, and it's not on the island. It's the vessel that you have to build to get through the journey to get to the goal, the dream, the land, the continent, whatever it is, the motherland, right? So it's not on the island. We have to get off this island, and the tools are probably not on this island. It's something I have to build off this island and take it on my journey. The last one here, we're going to look at, it's called, last study, Purpose, Hope, and Life Satisfaction in 3 Age Groups, the Journey of Positive Psychology. Here's a great excerpt from it that says, empirical research finds that it is associated with a greater level of happiness and resilience. So talking about purpose. So what's empirical research? It's all this great research I'm giving you here. It finds that purpose is associated with a greater level of happiness and resilience. So ultimately, think about that. If you're off the island, you're in the boat, you're enduring the ocean to the goal, you're happy. You feel resilient. You feel invincible. You feel in command of your life. You feel alive, right? So ultimately, we can put things out of order. We can be on the island. We haven't built our purpose. We haven't organized our life, create the action to build our vessel and establish our purpose and move towards the goal. And we're looking for happiness, and we're looking for that feeling of being alive and being on path because we haven't built the vessel, because we haven't done the self-organization and actualization and pulling and defining the purpose, defining the path. So that's putting it out of order. So yeah, if you're not happy with where you are, if you don't feel alive, like you're on your path, you're heading in the right direction, it's because you haven't established your purpose. You haven't found the passion, the path to the goal. And that's why you're feeling the way you feel. So we have to start the self-organization. So how do we do that? So now we understand. We got this great analogy of probably where we are because we haven't found our purpose, right? We somewhat understand our goal. And we're obviously not happy. We're kind of like in limbo, like just nothing really is exciting us in our lives. It's because we're struggling to start this process. So what's ways I can help you in starting this process? I'll share right now. First of all, it's not easy. Remember, because what was the prerequisite for coming into this? Your ability or your willingness to accept adversity. So a lot of people don't understand that you're never going to experience the happiness, the gratitude, the excitement of being alive and moving forward until you're willing to go through the challenges, the frustrations, the depths of real adversity. And that's hard to understand. A lot of people are like, why can't I just get all the great things I want to experience? And why can I be happy? Why do I have to go through all this despair and frustration and emotion? Because that's just how life works. That's how it's built. Just look at human nature. Look at the animal kingdom, right? This is how life works. But here's the thing is, once you accept it, that's the process. That, hey, I got to take some beatings to get to the glory, then you're fine. You've accepted it. And that's the yin and yang in life. Have you ever seen the yin and yang, right? That's to get the reason happiness exists is because despair or sadness exists. It's the balance of life. So if you're trying to get over here, you got to first kind of go through what's over here, right? So that's why I understand that losing your happiness to get where you're going and get on that path is more than likely going to happen, right? So because you've accepted it, you're open to it, and you're allowing it to happen, right? So that's the first step in this process, right? We already established that. But now, okay, we're at that point. We're ready for this. We're open-minded. We're ready for it. The self-organization is the key. So this is someone who's sitting there looking at me in the camera or listening to me in the podcast. you're like, all right, Brent, I'm open-minded. I'm ready to go. How do we establish this purpose, and how do we self-organize, and how do we get on this path so I can get to my goal in my life? Because I'll tell you right now, when you get on that ship, the journey is going to be the most exhilarating part. The reward at the end is only going to be great because the depths of the challenge that you endured to get there. But the journey is going to be the best part. It's going to have all your greatest stories are going to be in the journey. So, all right, you're excited. We're here. Self-organization. The best way to do this, I truly believe, is reverse engineering. All right. So, for example, you got to go, all right, I want to be a Major League Baseball player. So what would someone have to go through to be a Major League Baseball player? This is where you got to study. I don't have enough time in this podcast to go through someone who's starting at Little League or high school and the challenges they will have to overcome to get to Major League Baseball. I tell you right now, 99% of the people that come to my facility, they think to get to the goal, they have to do this much work. And in reality, they have to do this much work. Couldn't even hold it in my hand. I can't even put my arms wide enough to define the amount of work that is going to be involved. So, but here's the thing. If you can't understand the process, if you can't see every step and understand every alternative to every step, you're going to lose the focus. You're going to fall out of passion and purpose because the ship is going to get off the course or it's going to sink because it's out of resources. It's frustrated. It's no more energy. It's done, right? So you got to really sit here and go through all the steps. All right. So, I mean, if we need to have that podcast, I will, but it's a lot. It's, not only got to make the high school team, but I gotta be good enough to stay on the high school team. Not only gotta be good enough to stay on the high school team and be a go-to player, I gotta be now the dominant player, and now I gotta lead the team, and now I gotta get the team to take the team farther than it's ever gone. And then now I've got to get out there and show scouts that I have what it takes to do that at the next level. And then I get to the next level and I got to start the process again. And it goes on and on. And then, I get cut. Now what do I do? I've been cut. How do I overcome the cut? Or I just got hurt. Now what do I do when I get hurt? There's so much to this process. And if you don't understand it and you don't understand the depths of it, then it's like climbing a mountain with the fog in your face. You're going to get halfway and be like, I don't know where I'm going. And I'm worn out and I'm going to turn around and go back. Like you have to have the clarity, guys, of every step along the way, visualizing you going through every step to where everything that you're confronted with in your journey when you have your purpose established is not going to prevent you from getting the goal, because you know the process and you're willing to endure it, right? You're creating the probability. Yeah, there could be a point where you just get so exhausted, so worn out, and the stakes are so high and you have to compromise things about yourself that you never wanted to compromise, and then that might be your end. But I would say most people don't fail because of that. Most people fail because they don't see the clarity of the process. They haven't laid out the path, and they get frustrated because they thought at this point they should be there by now, and they're not even close. Okay? So if you can't reverse engineer the path, you could build the greatest ship in the world, and you're just going to get lost. So think about it. Here's the process. Remember, everything has to be open-minded. You're willing to take on the world. You're self-organizing because you've reversed engineered to build this. And then after you reverse engineer, you fully equip yourself, right? You get the best trainers, the best program, the best mindset, the best nutrition, the best location, the best team, whatever. You then equip everything you can around that process. That's the next big step here. We could do a whole podcast on that, right? So you first engineer it, then you build the ship. That's equipping yourself with everything that gives you the best chance of surviving the trip, right? You wouldn't want to go to the Antarctica without something to keep you warm or something to keep the ship from, sinking. So it's got to break the ice. Like if you don't have the equipment, you could have the whole process reverse engineered and the equipment limits you, or the preparation for the journey limits you, or the plan, the nutrition, whatever. Like that has to then all be built in once you reverse engineer the process. And then at that point, it's just the journey. And the journey is the greatest part, especially if you know where you're going and because of that, now you're excited where you're going and you have the purpose and the passion and the equipment and everything's with you. And then that's what movies are made of. That's what makes great movies. when people get to watch that and just kind of enjoy that with you and cheerlead you along the way, because they can see the vision with you, and they can see the steps in the process, and they know you have what it takes to endure it. That's what the enjoyment of sports is all about. But here's the thing. If you don't, first start off in the beginning. Open your mind to it. If you don't, start to self-organize and reverse engineering. You don't start to put the equipment and the plan and the best things around you to support you in the journey. But you're sitting on that island and you're just hoping. You're just sitting there hoping that like God blesses you or whatever. Something just lifts you and throws you over there. It's fantasy. Let's go back to what I said in the beginning. You're living in a fantasy, and it doesn't work that way. And it's an illusion in your mind when you think you see someone on social media and that was their process. That's an illusion, because that's not true. There's no way that's true. I mean, I'd love to see you try to prove me wrong. Post it in my comments if you tell me someone did that and that's true. It's not true. And so get those delusion. You're delusional to the process. Like, get those illusions out of your mind, and don't let your lack of understanding, your ignorance to the process, because you've never reverse engineered it. So now you're ignorant to the process. Don't let that ignorance, cloud you and set you up for failure, which is what a lot of people are doing. So if you feel like you're uneducated, you're uninformed of what's going on, that's what you should do first, and stay away from other people's stories, because those might be allusions to what it really takes, which is only going to set you up for failure in each step you take. So really, really, really start to plan out the process and watch your purpose form and build and your passion grow, which is ultimately is going to help you achieve the goal at the end, whatever it is, Major League Baseball, D1 baseball, professional baseball, whatever it is. So I hope that helps, guys. And that was a big overview of the whole thing. Definitely didn't go into details. There's a lot of details, but that's what we do here at TopVelocity. We love to help guys in their journey, and we love to help guys build their passion, build their purpose, build their plan. And we like to give them our experience, our knowledge, our equipment, and give them the best opportunities they can to go as far as they can. So if you want more information about TopVelocity, check us out at TopVelocity.net. That was a fun episode. If you have any suggestions for other episodes, post it down in the comments, and we'll see you on the next episode.